the behind the scenes of Bridget Jones before we got there.
I say ickle. ICL means I can't lie.
Oh, sorry, ickle. ICL. Yeah, it was just a little bit hectic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit of pandemonium, chaos, last minute madness, as we like. You know, we don't do things easily here at Ali and G Limited, so it wouldn't actually be an event day without something. Always something goes wrong just before. Last time my dress ripped.
This time I basically didn't try on my tights. Or I tried on a pair of tights, but then those weren't the tights I brought, which was just like, honestly, so stupid. So then Olivia had to run out to Calzedonia and buy me 55. We spent like £500 on tights by the end of
the bill came through, £67 only.
Oh, it's not ideal.
Babe, it's not.
Could have been avoided.
I thought it was going to be 150 quid.
I'll buy you some dinner for that, because
let it off. 67 quid, I think, is a bargain, to be honest with you.
But we managed it, and God love Fran, because I kept ripping them. So Fran, then we went a higher denier.
Denier.
Yeah, because I was a fool to go eat denier. So we went to 15, and thank God Fran managed to get them on me, and we made it, and it was great, wasn't it?
It was amazing, and like, you know, all the chaos, like as soon as you get in the car, you just sort of like forget, because like then you're just like on adrenaline.
Yeah.
And you get on the carpet, and like it's just mad.
Also, I always think it's like being on one of those Hollywood tours. Like it's like we're on a little bus and we're like celeb spotting.
Yeah.
Like me and Al were stood by the door, like security were desperate to move us along.
Right.
So anyway, it was great, and like Renee looked gorgeous, and the whole cast were there apart from Colin, Emma Thompson.
Oh, Emma Thompson.
We were sad to miss Emma. She couldn't be there.
I do always wonder, what are you doing?
Yeah, what is more important?
They
Emma?
must be filming something, because that's the only reason that you would miss something.
Yes.
Like
or you're out the country.
In another country, yeah. But like,
because it must be written into your contract that you have to do the premiere. Surely. I thought Leo Woodall looked fantastic. I
hated his suit. I just feel so sad.
His brown suit.
Because it was just like high-waisted as well. It was giving a bit like 1960s, 70s. You know, those like men that just like...
some people, like Harry Styles pulls that off. Do you not think, when he wears a high waist?
Yeah, I do. But he doesn't do a full brown suit.
He doesn't do it in corduroy.
No, corduroy, that was what really threw me over the edge, actually.
Yeah.
But
no,
guys,
it was really good.
We sat front row. We walked in, we thought, oh, we'll be in the gods. Front row.
Yeah, because for Wicked, we were in the gods.
In the gods.
The gods of all gods.
And also, well, we were in the gods, but like also the cast always sit in the gods.
Yeah,
Remember
they do.
Wicked, they sat, like, pretty much right in front of us.
Because they reserve them a row, and they are quite far back. I was thinking it must be incredible to watch it with everyone. Like people were whooping and crying and like cheering. Imagine you've made that film, and then you're so pleased that, you know, the crowd is receptive.
Although I don't know if they had a premiere in Paris, but like
they did.
After a couple of screenings, you must be like, oh.
No, she said it was the first time they were watching it.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Yeah, they all said it was the first time.
No, but the Wicked lot must have watched that film.
Oh, the Wicked lot.
Oh my God.
By heart.
Yeah.
Back to front, round and round. Yeah, no, it was amazing. And that sex scene, I thought it was phenomenal.
Will be jaw on the floor.
I thought it was really... They've got proper chem. Renee and Leo.
He's so
like real
sexy,
chem.
actually, wow.
It was sexy. Me and Al were both like feet up, like, ah! Ah! Oh my God! It was so good.
So good.
Wow.
And Hugh Grant was like, his character was so funny and dry. And like,
it was like a dirty old perv.
Like exactly what you'd want him to be.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, the celeb spotting it, all those things, is just always like totally, we met, guys. We met the Traitors.
Oh my God, we met Alexander from the Traitors. Rahana's looking blank face. She doesn't watch it. Shame.
If you're listening and you watch the Traitors, you'll know.
A real king of all kings. He was so nice to us. I basically said I would die if I didn't say hello, and he went, well, we don't want that. Did you? Smooth fuck. Charlotte wasn't so nice. Sorry, no defamation.
No defamation.
I think she was a bit flustered because, like, you know, we had no clothes on and accosted
her. Well, also,
her.
poor Charlotte, I do think she's getting a bit of hate. Well, she was.
Also, she was talking about it. I can't remember what it was on. Maybe her and Frankie were on, like, Cosmopolitan or something.
Something like that.
And she was saying, like, everyone was, like asking me about the experience when I got home, and she was like, because the last 48 hours of my experience there was so traumatic, she was like, I just kind of like didn't really deep any of it, and then I didn't even think about the nice time I'd had because it was so full on, like the lying.
Yeah,
crazy.
So anyway, yeah, it was really fun.
Sorry, before we get into the intro, we best say thank you everyone who bought tickets to Lamb Live. Can you cope?
Dead on the floor. Well, the thing is, I knew this would happen because you guys are such legends.
Yeah, and we know that people that listen like really like listen and care, so thank you. But you know, there's listening and caring, and then there's parting with your 20 quid, so thank you.
Yeah.
And your Friday night, but promise we'll make it so fun.
Maybe we'll come out, in a little naked number. I don't know. You'll have to wait and see. Maybe
Al's head of styling, so I'll just be told what I'm wearing.
Actually, I will say I was proud of myself it was actually G's. We jumped off G's Vision platform for Bridget Jones, but I was pleased with how the final look turned out.
With the two of us.
The two of us. It is much harder than I think people realise.
Yeah, it's very easy to get it wrong, I suppose.
And also, it's really easy to just be generic, and we don't want to be generic.
Generic.
Who wants to be generic?
Who wants
Also,
that?
if you actually, I was looking last night for something that we can't actually talk about, but you're gonna shit your pants when we announce what it is.
When we disclose.
When we reveal.
Why is it so top secret? Because nothing's ever said.
Because it's not confirmed yet. So imagine we start blagging about it and then it's like pulled from under us. That wouldn't be ideal, would it?
Please, can we intro the episode?
Yeah, sorry, we can. Sorry.
What I just wanted to quickly say is that I was looking for some style inspo. There are no female duos.
I saw she's really rinsing Kendall and Kylie over there.
Because they're really the only ones that ever bother.
That do it that bother to do it together.
Exactly.
Females.
And this is our big opportunity now.
Oh, wow, here we really come into our own. Okay, welcome to Leave a Message. This is the podcast where we take your stories, dilemmas. You send them to us in voice notes. By the way, producer Rohana has been thrilled and inundated
with the quality.
Yes, with some top quality voice notes, and she's very grateful and she'd like you to keep them coming. Thank you. Basically, I'm G, this is Ali, together we're Ali and G, and we take the voice notes and we create a safe space for them to be aired and for us to all react to them.
We listen and we don't judge on this podcast.
Always. And even when we do judge, it's with love.
And this week, the Gallies must be called...
What will the Gallies be called this week?
Last week they were Bridget.
Charlotte.
I was just about to say Charlotte because we're going to Charlotte Tilbury later. You're reading my mind.
Have you met her yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
No. We lied. We've been in the same room as her.
Okay, but we were pretty close and she was talking and we thought we were in a cult.
But we never said, hello, Charlotte, nice to meet you. That's never happened for us.
No.
Can you just send me like a personalized video when you do me?
Yeah.
Are you a big Charlotte Hill fan?
Darling.
Darling. No, Rana, when she speaks,
darling.
you honestly think you're being transported to another world. I'm not joking.
She's an incredible woman.
Charlotte #1.
Hey girlies, I just wanted to leave a message about my second date with my college boyfriend. This was several years ago now, and I'd asked him out on our first date, which was the middle of December. We'd already been best friends for a long time, so I had met his parents a couple of times before, but we decided that our second date would be New Year's Eve celebrations at their house. And we did this big fancy dinner like they always do. There was a lot of drinking and whatever. But he got so unbelievably drunk. He was a total lightweight. But he was kind of saying some inappropriate, sexist jokes and stuff. Enough that his mum and I were giving each other looks all night, okay. At 1:30 or so, we go to bed and we get into his bedroom and he immediately just starts trying to kiss me and he puts his hands all over me. And he's like, why don't you want to kiss me? Why don't you want to sleep with me? Because that was kind of when we planned to sort of do it for the first time. And at this point, I'm getting a bit overwhelmed and a bit tearful. So I go to the bathroom, have a little cry, and I ring my friend. And I come out and I think, okay, maybe he'll apologise. Did he fuck? No. He was asleep, passed out on the mattress. I thought, oh, lush. It's our second date and I've been crying in the bathroom whilst this man is asleep. But I go to bed. But then a few minutes later, he gets out and he throws up everywhere, all over the bathroom, all over me, all over my pink fluffy socks. It was devastating. And I go get his mum and we get him back into bed. We have to undress him and we have to change his bed sheets 3 times that night because he kept throwing up all over himself in his sleep. So we spent our first date with his mother and I undressing him whilst he was unconscious, which is so embarrassing for him, but also embarrassing for me that I didn't take that as a red flag and I stayed for 2 whole years. He did this all the time in our relationship, by the way. Oh, and then at the end of our relationship, he shat himself in airport customs in America, fully diarrhea dripping down the leg, fully shat himself in public. It was hilarious, but obviously at the time I had to be a supportive girlfriend. So I cleaned the shit off of his trainers and then he dumped me 5 weeks later. Yeah, that was him. So I hope you've enjoyed.
Sorry, my mic's off. Wow. God, you must find a man that can control their bowels.
I was going to say, listen, I've even got IBS and I don't think I'd be shitting in airport customs.
There's a lot to say here and I'm going to get, everyone ready, a little bit serious. just for a sec, then I'll be funny again, okay?
Okay, hold on to your hats, kids.
Just settle in. I think when you're with a partner who changes significantly when they drink,
Oh yeah, totally.
it's like, it's a non-negotiable. Like, I don't think you can be with that person until they sort their shit out. Because especially when you're a girl and your partner might be a lot heavier than you, a lot bigger than you, and you are constantly put in positions where they don't respect you or care for your safety when they've had a drink because they just want to shag. That's really dangerous. And I think we kind of like push it under the rug a tiny bit because we're just like, oh, he's drunk. He just gets like that when he's drunk. And he's my boyfriend and he loves me and normally we have nice sex. But it's like, no. Like, in that moment, he's not taking care of you. And if he doesn't have the sense whilst he's drinking to be able to knock himself out of it, I don't think you're safe with that person. I don't think you should be with them, really.
Well, it depends if they are like a messy drunk. Like, just like,
Listen,
not
the
even like,
sick I can forgive.
but like, yeah, the sex, like the
pestering,
force.
the force.
But like, I think it's a sliding scale because like there are some people that just like can't hold a drink and they're just like, you know, those people that you just think, oh my God, I'm going to have to look after him tonight.
Yes, but there is also, even on that level, a conversation to have.
Oh,
of like,
100%.
your drinking isn't good.
Well, let's talk about Molly May.
Let's talk about Molly May.
Because
Thank
she
you.
basically said that about Tommy, that like, you know, the alcohol really was, even though he wasn't an alcoholic, when he drinks, he's a different person. And so it's someone that you genuinely don't recognize. Like, that's really scary.
It's really scary. And when that person isn't taking responsibility for that because they're not really conscious when they're that drunk, they don't know how bad it is. And they think you're kind of overreacting or they can't remember genuinely. It's a problem.
It's really, yeah. I agree. I think we do brush it under the rug. It's like, oh, he just likes a drink, but it's not that. It's like he loses himself. By the way, this is both ways. He or she.
Yeah.
They, them.
The only problem with the like, sometimes I do like think that men even forget like their full force sometimes. I've got friends, their partners weigh double their weight and are like fucking like, you know, a foot taller than them or whatever. Like, it's scary. Even if they don't mean to hurt you, like, they're big and I think you've got to protect yourself.
I 100% agree, but I think also, like, I do know girls that, like, as do you, that you
get drunk, you throw things. You use force in different ways,
Yeah,
girls.
it's-
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
saying it's like all bad, all men, #all men, and I hate them. But I am just saying like, yeah, okay, vice versa. If you feel unsafe when your partner drinks.
or you feel like you just genuinely don't want, like, you know that thing where it comes
you don't
over you,
like them
you
or they
don't
get
wanna- you don't even want to be
aggy
in
or-
the same room as them.
Also, the sexist comments, like I'd be like, okay, if you say that when you're drunk, you do think that, you just filter
100
yourself daily.
Yes.
And I'm just like, I can't with that. Like, next time, babe, we leave after that, I reckon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know what we're waiting to find out. Sometimes we wait to see if listen, I've been guilty of this, so I'm like, no blame, because I've done it. I would blame myself for that too. But like,
Wait to make sure that you're sure.
wait to make sure, like, oh, it's not that bad, or can it get worse? It's like you're like waiting
Listen,
for
I
a
was talk-
sequel. Horrible.
I was talking about this yesterday with someone. When they show you who they are, believe them first time. Why do we give people so much grace? Like, okay, a couple of times maybe you can let
and
them off the
also
hook.
the fallout sometimes, if it's dealt with in a way that's like sincerely apologetic, embarrassed for my behaviour, like that also has a lot to play.
But
I
like,
think.
if that's a repeated pattern of fucking up, sincerely apologise, fucking up, like you're
No
not really
action
sorry.
taken.
Yeah, because if
Yeah.
you were sorry, you would change your behaviour.
Yeah, agreed.
And I don't know, I just think like, if it happens or happened multiple times, sadly you've got to draw a line somewhere and draw your boundary, which is really difficult when they're drunk.
Yeah, I know. And listen, a lot can be excused. Alcohol's powerful stuff, and everyone says if we found it now, it wouldn't be legalised.
Yeah.
So 100% sometimes there are moments. Listen, I've been picked up off the floor by partners before and taken home and like babied because I've been so sick and poorly, and I would not want that person to leave me because of that, obviously. I'm just talking about like the extra layer when you become a different person in the way that it gets like nasty or pressurizing or whatever it is,
or it's
sexist
like a
or whatever.
regular occurrence.
And it's regular. Yeah, you can't be getting that sicky Vicky like every time.
No.
Because then you would say to your partner, we're getting a lot of sicky Vicky over here and I can't be cleaning the sheets that many times with your mum.
Well, also, like, it's not fair on me.
No.
Because, like, I'm having a fun night and then, like, I'm just becoming, I'm coming home at 10 to look after you. And it's, like, selfish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a conversation in general. I don't know. I just think that about, like, I think this is something, again, that people kind of brush over in the beginning of a relationship. Is like, I do think your relationship with alcohol individually has to kind of match.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Because, like, if I was with someone who, like, wanted to drink every single night at home, I would really find that hard because I don't really drink. So it's like, why do you feel the need? I mean, maybe that's a really judgmental thing, but like, even on a Saturday, like I wouldn't like, if he was like, oh, let's go get a glass of wine at 3, I'd be like, that's not very fun for me.
Yeah, see, we're the opposite. I couldn't be with someone that didn't want a glass of wine on a Sunday at 3.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So maybe alignment is like something to
I
look
just
for.
think like, okay, Sunday glass of wine is not like the biggest deal, but like in general, if you're drinking all the time, you don't drink every day, babe. If you were with someone that came home and sunk 2 beers every single night, the energy is very different.
Yeah.
It's a totally different vibe.
Babe, I'm glad you're not with him anymore.
Yeah, well done.
And I'm also glad he shot himself in customs. Because it feels like he deserved that. And that was
revenge.
karma.
So sweet.
Yeah. Before we continue with this week's episode of Leave a Message,
if you want to be part of our group chat, make sure you leave us a voice note using all the details in the episode description.
Now, this can be about anything. Obviously, sometimes we ask you for specific topics, but if you've got a story that you think girls need to hear this, then get voice noting. Number 2.
Hi guys, this isn't really I sound like I'm like fucking doing an interview. I'm so sorry. This isn't really a dilemma. It's more of a like, how do you navigate love bombing? Because I've been love bombed by everyone I've ever been with. And do you know what? It's not ideal. I'm kind of over it. And it's just annoying at this point. Like they love me for about 2 months and then it's like, okay, bye. And I'm just a bit bored of that. And now I'm like just really wary of anyone that shows any interest. I also find they always want to get to know me by my looks. And I guess that's what you've got to go off. But like, I just find that so like you only think I'm good looking. I don't know. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Love you both.
Babe, thrilled for you that you're so fit, number 1. That's epic. What a win.
That is what you picked up on.
Yeah. No, I'll get to the love bombing, don't worry. There's a lot to like unpack with love bombing. It's really difficult because I think it also happens in loads of different ways. Mm-hmm. Like some people are way more subtle in the way that they start love bombing and take it away.
Agree.
And then some people are like the hot and cold. It's your responsibility maybe now that you've clocked it, that that's a pattern, to kind of call them out on it. Because also every single person is different. Someone might genuinely be getting swept up in the fact that they think they're in love with you after like 2 months. And that is a different conversation to someone who is like using the love bombing as a ploy to like make you feel wanted, desired, and then to be with them. So that you're like, pining after them. Because as soon as they take that away, you're like, what? Because I think some people genuinely can get overexcited when they have a feeling that they haven't had before. Mm-hmm. And I think the only thing you need to say is like, I really appreciate that we're really liking getting to know each other, but maybe we just like hold that language. Because I love you after 2 months is a lot.
Well, also, it's like, what are some classic signs of love bombing?
I love you. Really early doors.
Also,
I think I'm falling for you. A lot of like compliments.
Like showering you in like with like flowers or like, like unwanted, not unwanted, but a bit unnecessary over exaggeration of their show of like affection.
Yeah.
I would also say it's a bit of like, I don't know if this is a symptom or if this is like something that they would intend to do, but like when you are being love bombed, you sometimes like retreat from your like normal life.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like, you're not like other girls. You're like the only person I want to spend my time with at the moment.
Planting seeds like, oh, I don't like this friend, or like, it's all of that sort of...
Because it kind of becomes us against them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what starts to happen. And to be honest, I think it's really hard to tell whether you're being love bombed or not until they take it away.
The fact that you know this means that you're not like blind to it.
Which is good, because I think it genuinely can be hard when you're just swept up in a new relationship and you think they're just being really like on you and into you.
Yes.
But even that, now I'm older and now I've dated so many different people, I'm like, you should have enough going on in your life that doesn't really happen anymore. Like, of course, you get excited about someone and you can think, God, they're quite good on paper and God, they might be the one. But I'm saying that to you, the girls. I'm not saying that, to them. In the early days. I might be showing them with the way I want to spend time with them, with the way they're hanging out. But I'm not saying that really early doors because you're not going to be my everything after 2 weeks.
But also that you can like have some, maintain a sense of, I think this is what happens. You lose all sense of logic because it's just like, I read this book about it actually, that like basically when you fall in love, your emotions your brain basically doesn't work. Like fully just mush. Your logic is like fully inhibited.
Yeah.
But if you can try and maintain some level of logic where like if he is saying I love you in 2 weeks, rather than being like, oh my God, you can be like, that is actually a bit weird.
And you can say to them like, oh, that feels fast for me.
Yeah.
You can slow, or like, I don't need XYZ to feel wanted by you.
I think a lot of it is just like checking yourself every time to be like, does that actually sit well?
Do I like it?
Yeah. Or am I just like excited? Because excited is often confused with lust.
Also, that level of like flattery does not last.
Yeah.
It cannot. Like, they can't even keep up with themselves. Like, no one can.
Well, also, like, of course it then goes away because they've sort of like run out of things to say, really.
And then, of course, you're in the dynamic where you're pining after them and wanting that because it's like, you've been having cake and then someone's offering you a carrot and you're like, it doesn't quite add up. Why would I eat the carrot? I want the cake.
I've noticed this about guys, just from my experience as a heterosexual lady, that they'll get really enthralled in a person and then they'll like throw everything at them. And then as soon as they're like, damn, this is really intense because they've made it intense, they like fall back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they disappear.
Or as soon as the like girl, woman, whoever relaxes into it and also allows themselves to be like, oh, I really dig you too, then it's like, whoa, pressure.
Avoidant.
Press the avoidant button. Get me out. Yeah.
Oh, sadly though, there's no way to protect yourself against that. Like, you can't do anything to stop that from happening in reality.
No.
Because like, if they're avoidant, they're avoidant. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. Like, I think a lot of it with men, and I am talking quite generally here, I do think men are ready later in life.
Yeah.
And like, if you're expecting, which is heartbreaking, but like if you're expecting a man to be on your emotional level,
but also you have got to, with the guys that are that, but they're showing you something different. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because they come in so hot,
well,
so
like, you
hard.
think you're mad.
And also I think part of it is them convincing themselves, to be honest. And that's why they go so big in the beginning.
Agree.
And then they panic or whatever happens. I just wanted to quickly talk about the looks thing.
Yeah.
I think it is, I actually just don't love the term red flag because I think it's so more nuanced than that. But I do think when someone is complimenting you solely based on the way you look, I think that's something to just acknowledge because I don't think it's a great indication.
So I don't look like this all the time. Fucking hell, you should see me on a Sunday morning.
Exactly. Or like, cool, but I kind of want you to love me for the bits that aren't.
Do you know how much of a 360 person I am? And you're only loving like degree 1.
And also, I want you to like me. Like, I really want to get to like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in and me be a kind of person that you want to be around.
Yeah.
I've been guilty of it. I have been with men because I'm like, my loins are on fire and I fancy you. I don't like them. I had this thing the other day. So a friend of mine is a mutual friend with one of my exes.
Whoa, hold on. A friend of mine, yeah, got it.
She's having a birthday party. She sits me down. She's like, oh, I don't really know how to approach this. I feel a bit awkward about it. We'll call him Darren. Darren's coming to my birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thinking about it. I haven't seen him since we broke up. I was 20. And I'm like, do you know what? No worries. I never liked Darren. I loved him at the time. I thought I did. I fancied the pants off him and I felt so honoured that he fancied me. That was like the main dynamic of our relationship.
That's a good...
Because I thought he was fit. So I was like, Fitty fancies me. Epic low self-esteem on the floor. I don't like him as a person. I know that now. I really wouldn't ever choose to spend time with him and I definitely wouldn't want to be stuck on an island with him. So I'm not worried about seeing him at the birthday party. Do you know what I mean? But when you're in that dynamic and you're a bit blinded by lust, you never really stop to think, do I like them? And I think if you're on the receiving end of someone who really fancies you and is putting you on a pedestal, you have to stop and think, do I like them? Do I actually like them, or do I really like the way they make my ego feel? Because they make me feel fit and wanted, and that feels nice, obvs.
I know it's not a very popular, sexy thing to say, but the reality is, you need to love your best mate, really.
Yeah.
It doesn't, listen, of course you have to fancy them. I'm not saying that you don't have to have the spark or some chemistry or some level of I really fancy them. But there's so much more to life than just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are responsible, especially if you're fit and you present in a way that men really
That men are going to go for that.
Yeah. Your long hair, you got your shit together, you dress well, your face is done. Do you know what I mean? Boys like it. You know
it's your
that.
job to tear down the wall day one.
Day one, get in deep, babe. Ask him something. Have you ever shot yourself? Go there.
Yeah.
Ask them the big questions.
And don't just play into their narrative of I'm just a pretty girl.
Because also it's too easy. We've all done it. It's so easy to just flick your hair and suck a dick and you're away. It's just easy. But do more, because you are responsible for doing more. Sorry, suck a dick was strong. I didn't mean that. I just meant if I was to play on my feminine power, I'll be on my knees and then I've got them. Do you know what I mean? It's easy. I might not ask them about how they feel about maternity pay and paternity pay being equal. Do you know what I mean? I might not have those combos.
Yeah.
And maybe I should. Because then they're not just going to look at me as
a pretty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Agree.
Roundup?
Yeah, baby.
Charlotte number 1, Vommy Bommy.
Oh, Vommy Bommy. Very good to tell stories like that.
Agree. Listen, if when you go to those dinner parties and people are what's your craziest story? Good thing you banked one, babe.
Yes, and good thing for the other girls who might, because there might be girls listening to this that are a bit I don't love it when my boyfriend drinks.
Also, I do think it's a bit of a taboo subject, even amongst girls. It's a bit embarrassing to sit there and say my boyfriend is a messy, violent drunk. Not violent, but
but you know what I mean? He makes me feel uncomfortable when he's drunk.
That's something that even as women together is a really hard topic to come across.
Because the girls are going to be that's bad.
Dump him.
Yeah.
And you don't want that.
So you hide it.
Yeah.
And you keep it to yourself because you're God, I would hate someone to have seen him like that.
Exactly.
And how he spoke to me.
Exactly.
Or the jokes he made that felt a bit sexist, or, yeah, you're right. It becomes something that you're embarrassed of and then you don't share it. And you need to, because if it's something you can't say aloud, it's wrong. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that, because I know we got a bit serious, but it's important.
But also it is something that if you feel your friends might judge you, preface it and say, I need to say something and I would actually really appreciate it if basically no one said anything.
Because I'm actually not ready to dump him based on this, but I need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I get it.
Yeah.
Especially, I know you were in the early stages of dating, but if you're having those conversations 3 years in, you're Molly May with a kid, it's a very different conversation to have, because you're telling your family, your friends, the world X, but you are rooted and stuck in Y. So
well, also, you're telling them really that you put up with it. And
you tolerate it.
Yeah.
And you've chosen to do so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that, babe. Glad you're not with him.
Charlotte number 2, love bombing. I mean, this is a whole separate episode, actually.
I haven't been love bombed in a long time, to be fair.
Paul Brunson talks a lot about love bombing, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah. I would say, I just think...
I would say stay awake.
I would say stay awake, and I would say don't ignore, and don't... You know when it's someone just genuinely starting to catch feelings for you at the same pace as you are.
Agree.
And you know the difference.
Agree.
Between someone trying to...
I also think it's so language based.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that, someone getting feelings at the same pace as you. Even if that's fast, the language is always... I don't know what the difference is, but
Well, yeah, because it's always prefaced with I know this is crazy, but I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Or I know, or the way it comes out is so much more tentative. Whereas if you're being love bombed, it's strong and it's just there.
So true.
And
It's
just
not
said,
I know. It's
as if it's fact.
Yeah.
And that is worrying, because you don't know. You don't know me, actually. I would say for the first year of dating someone, you don't know them.
I'd say longer.
2 years, you reckon?
Yeah.
Don't know
I honestly
them.
do think that, because
They don't show you all their faces.
someone can hold a mask up for 2 years easily.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't live together.
I'll never be put in situations where
Yeah.
that mask needs to fall down.
Yeah.
Thanks, girls. Great voice notes. Should we do question of the week? Talking of love bombing. The question was, have you ever been love bombed? This is interesting. I thought more people were going to say yes. What do you think?
I actually don't think it's a huge percentage of people.
55% of people said yes, and no, never was 45%.
55%?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm definitely not in that 55%.
No, I think I've had like timid love bombing.
Ever in my life?
No, I've definitely had
No,
love
I
bombing
haven't.
actually.
Oh, they didn't want to love bomb me.
Well, you've been with Raw for a long time, babe.
No, but even before that.
I know.
And we were young, and
But
actually-
they were young, the boys were young then, they couldn't be asked to love bomb. It's a toxic older man thing. And now this is interesting. Bearing in mind our audience is mainly female, have you ever love bombed? 81% said no. 19% said guilty. Guilty of a bit of love bombing.
Well done for coming clean, everybody.
And now we've got some experiences.
Oh, yes.
They love bombed me for 2 weeks, a lot, then ghosted me, literally
ghosting
wiped me
is-
off the planet.
Oh my God, it's textbook.
Classic. Guy kept saying he was going to make me his girlfriend and setting expectations, then ghost. It's all ending in ghosting. I think I'm being love bombed currently. Send help. Okay, babe, listen to this.
episode.
This guy told me he loved me after one date and sleeping together twice. Yeah, it's a no. That's a no.
But what? Okay, listen. We listen and we don't judge. But what I don't understand is, how can that happen to you and for you to go, oh my God, yeah, I love him too.
Or like, oh, good for you, you love me. Yeah, no.
No. I'd be like, you need to go to hospital and have your head checked.
Crazy. Love bombed by my toxic ex-best friend. Turns out she was a narcissist. It was all a bit wild.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't spoken about it in friendships, but
It does happen.
hot and cold exists everywhere. You got to be careful. People have that dynamic with their parents. Like, it's very,
Yeah, you're
it can be anywhere. And we didn't even think to discuss that. So maybe we'll put that on the list.
Maybe we'll pick that up next week. T.
Or the week after, or the week after that. We don't like to promise anything around here because as soon as we do that, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Is this episode 50, by the way? Congrats! Well done, team. That's really good.
That's a whole year. Almost.
Not yet.
52. 2 more weeks to go.
Not until March. Can you believe it?
I know.
I
We
know.
started in
I actually know
March.
the date exactly.
What is
Do
it?
you?
March 6th.
Wow, March 6th. 2 days before International Women's Day. I like the way we work
got
around
it.
here.
Wow.
Guys, have a great day. Don't get love bombed.
Will we get some 1 year balloons?
Oh, yeah.
On the 6th of March, I reckon.
I'm very serious. I've told everyone in our lives I do want the 250k balloons.
Babe, I want a cake.
Great.
You mean on TikTok?
Yes. So those are the 2 milestones we want balloons for. The 1 year of the pod, 250 on
Great.
TikTok.
Hopefully they'll all happen around about the same time.
Yeah.
In a dream world.
We'll do it. One party.
Yeah. Cut the budget.
Thanks for listening, team.
Love you all. See you
loads.
next week. Bye.